Why, hello everybody. I'm going to rant today, and yes, I'm going to use some cuss words. So, if you got little children around, they probably don't want to hear this. But if they're a Tom Brady fan, they'll probably be saying the same thing I'm going to. Okay, this article I came across yesterday on MSN.com. It was in my Google feed. Okay, the title of this article is Hang It Up, Tom Brady, We've Seen Enough by Mike Tennyson from under Yard Barker. Apparently that's a column. So, okay, let's get into the article. After 20 seasons, 6 NFL championships, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 3 MVPs, 17 division titles, 14 Pro Bowl appearances, and untold other individual accolades, the greatest of all time should retire. During his post-game presser following Saturday night's home wild-card loss to Tennessee, the Patriots' Tom Brady dismissed the idea of retirement, or at least branded it highly unlikely, yet admitted he isn't entirely sure what his immediate future holds. All anyone knows for now is that his contract will void once the new league year begins in March, thus presumably touching off the biggest free agent sweepstakes in the league has seen, at least one featuring a 42-year-old quarterback. If Brady is willing to play until he literally must be dragged from the field, some team will undoubtedly accommodate him, and it's reasonable to figure he could physically withstand playing another year, or maybe even 2. He has maintained that his goal is to play until he's 45, and he'll be 43 at the start of the 2020 season. But for the first time in his extended run in the NFL, it's evident that returns are diminishing. Really? Let's see how bad they've gotten. Brady's 2019 stats were the worst in over a decade, and it was the first year he didn't break the Pro Bowl since 2018. The season he was knocked out for the season in Week 1 with a knee injury. There were deficiencies in the Patriots offense beyond Brady in 2019, but for once it was clear the quarterback was part of the problem as well. Okay, their win-loss stats for the year are 12 wins, 4 losses, 75%. Only one team has a better record, and I think they're at 85% or 89%, and I can't remember what team that is at the moment, but it's also in the AFC. Okay, so yeah, having a rough year. When to walk away is a well-worn argument in sports for which there's no correct answer. For every Andrew Luck and an athlete with immense talent who decides the rigors of the sport aren't worth sacrificing other aspects of a rich life, there's somebody like Brady for whom football is the alpha and the omega. Both are faithful to their own desires, and who are we to tell them they're wrong? After all, they put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. Okay, now, I'm in Indianapolis, and Andrew Luck's been our quarterback for the last several years. Delightful young man. But he's had more than one knee injury that took him out for a season. He's had multiple serious injuries. His body's taken a toll. Tom Brady has basically had one serious knee injury and a few minor injuries. So, you're comparing apples and oranges. Heck, you're comparing fruits and meat. Or rocks and rain. Totally inappropriate. Okay. Still, there are compelling reasons for Brady to leave now. For starters, there has been public friction between he and his wife about his continued playing. Why is that anybody's business? And usually most of these scandal articles are fake. They're out there to sell newspapers and whatever. In 2017, months after a spat in the media with her husband about his unwillingness to retire, that was 2 years ago. Wow! Giselle Bundchen claimed that Brady suffered a concussion the season before that had not been reported and expressed concern about the toll further head injuries would take on him. The NFL and... Okay, let me find my spot here. Okay, the NFL and NFLPA disputed the claim about that particular concussion. Yet, for all we know about the NFL's checkered past of obscuring head injuries, it's hard to completely dismiss that out of hand. Besides whether her specific allegations were true or not, it showed a willingness on the part of Giselle to apply public pressure to her husband to consider leaving football. Now, the NFL has a really great concussion prevention program now. And actually, we wouldn't have that problem if they had stayed with leather helmets. But we'll discuss that in another video when I discuss my middle school history teacher. It's basically designed so you can't cheat at it. It's got repetitions and you can't cheat on it. Plus there's some, physical signs and symptoms. So, yeah, he may have gotten his bell rung, but I seriously doubt if he had a concussion. And Tom Brady cares enough about his body, as do all NFL players who are serious about the game. Their body's their temple. That's how they earn their money. And, a man earning multiple millions of dollars a year who has no need to work anymore is not going to risk everything for 1 or 2 more games. Okay, hold on a second, folks. Okay, we're back. Back to the article. There's also the matter of Brady's temperament. An obsessive competitor, he can often be spotted screaming on the field and on the sidelines when the offense isn't running smoothly. Now that his abilities are on the wane, seriously? It's difficult to see him deriving anywhere near as much satisfaction from playing if his performance won't be what he wants it to be. So he's passionate about the game. Every player should be that passionate. Don't get me started on Peyton Manning, who's a little wimp, and it's all about Brady. Mr. Manning. Okay. It's entirely possible that Brady, if he does return for year 21, will be back in New England, the only home he's known in his pro career. There was no hint of bitterness towards the organization in his presser Saturday. I love the Patriots. It's the greatest organization, he told reporters. Playing for Mr. Kraft all those years, and for Coach Belichick, There's nobody who's had a better career, I would say, than me, just being with them. So I'm very blessed. The Patriots are not sentimentalist, however, and that's true. One of the hallmarks of the Belichick era has been a ruthless tendency, even by NFL standards, to cut loose players once their peak has passed. Okay, so he wants the best players at all times. Is there anything wrong with that? No. These owners are investing millions in their teams, in their equipment, their players, meals to feed them, hotels. Yeah, they want to win. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're taking every advantage you can to win, more power to you. Okay, if anyone could be the exception, it's Brady. And with no clear successor waiting in the wings, the 2020 season could be a nightmare for New England if Touchdown Tom retires or signs elsewhere. Then again, a tactical mind like Belichick might be willing to bite the bullet on one bad season if it sets him up for another contending run in 2020, rather than pour everything into a so-so year in 2020. The AFC East is looking like it's no longer a gimme. The Bills are ascendant, and with all the resources the Dolphins have to play with in the offseason, they could be considerably better than the team that beat the Patriots in Foxborough in Week 17. On NBC's broadcast of the Seahawks-Eagles game on Sunday, Chris Collinsworth speculated that Brady could end up in Los Angeles playing for the Chargers next season. By no means is he alone in that guess, and it's a viable enough scenario. Chargers general manager Tom Telesco said last week that every position on the roster is up for evaluation, including quarterback. Longtime LA starter Philip Rivers, who is coming off a rocky 2019 of his own, is 38. 75% winning percentage. It's not about the individual, it's about the team. And I have not been watching football this year because of a whole lot of other issues, but I don't know how well Philip Rivers is starting, but he's a good man too. The Chargers, along with the Rams, are moving into their new shared stadium in Inglewood next season, and will be doing whatever possible to drum up interest in ticket sales beyond the novelty of new digs. Is that really an alluring twilight for Brady's career, playing for a team that finished 5-11 in 2019 with a quarterback rating whose passer rating was actually better than Brady's? Okay, so the Chargers had a real rough year this year. But again, who cares about passer ratings? It's about the team winning. And personally, I wish the NFL would go back to a ground game because I think it's more exciting. But, que sera, sera. Reduced to a big-name attraction to sell tickets for a team that is second banana in its own market, it conjures memories of another quarterback who limped away from the sport after a run of unquestioned greatness. In 1973, Johnny Unitas left the Baltimore courts after 17 years to play for the Chargers. The season for Johnny U, his last in the NFL, ended up being a rather pathetic affair. Okay, now, Johnny Unitas loved the game. He was a great guy. But back in those days, you weren't earning millions of dollars for being a quarterback. a lot of players had to work in the off season, and I don't know. That probably wasn't the case with him. He was a big enough player that he had contracts for commercials and such, as I recall. Yeah, I was only 10 years old in '73, so really the first football player I remember was now I can't even remember his name. Oh, God, he was a good-looking white guy. Played for the Jets. Did Noxzema commercials. Did pantyhose commercials. Him and O.J. Simpson were playing at the same time. Okay. Anyway. 43-year-old Brady has a little more left in the tank than a 40-year-old Johnny U did at that point. And let's face it, medical care for players is much better now than it was in 1973. Basically, players were disposable back then. 43-year-old Brady has a little more left in the tank than a 40-year-old Johnny U did at that point, though you can mostly chalk that up to advances in player conditioning and rules to protect quarterbacks. The result, though, would be more or less the same, a legend waging a losing battle against time. 43-year-old Brady has a little more left in the... Okay, sorry. Okay, that was the end of the article. But yeah, it's about... it's about the team. Brady loves the game. He, his coach Belichick, and Robert Kraft want to win. They're not there just to collect a paycheck. They're doing everything they can to bring glory to their team and to their area. So, Mike Tennyson, you're a fucking idiot.